Have you ever seen that clip that's been floating around the internet? It's kind of old now, but the gentleman is doing the news broadcast interview and he's talking very seriously, and then all of a sudden in the background there, the child comes into the room on the little trolley thing. I feel like that could be me today. You probably might hear some background noises of children squawking and screaming because I'm sitting right beside my window and the boys are right out there, and one of them sounds, actually both of them sound particularly cranky. So you might hear some background noises of small children screaming during this broadcast. Hello and welcome to new and returning viewers. This is the Knitting Life podcast, and my name is Erin, and I'm from Nova Scotia in Canada, which is on the East Coast. And you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Dufferin24. This podcast is about knitting and what I do knit, what I watch, what I read, what I can manage to get during my me time when I'm not busy working outside the home or working inside the home. So I do work part-time outside the home, and I work full-time here at home with our two boys. I was just about to say three boys. Two boys who are 4, soon to be 5 and 3, and their names are Havelock and Archie. So they keep me busy, but in my spare time I do like to knit and read and watch some programs on TV while I am knitting. So I can actually hear them there right now squawking at their father. Today is a beautiful day here in Nova Scotia. The sun is out, the snow is melting. We've had some previously frigid weather all week that's kept us pretty close to home. So they're excited to be outside, but they're rather cranky because they can't play with the hose. So you know how it is when you're 3 and 4, those struggles. It's so distracting. Screaming. It's been about 7 months since I last published anything on this channel, so a lot of knitting has happened in that time period, but for the sake of making things easier for myself, I'm just going to ease back into today with probably, hopefully, a quick little broadcast, just a quick episode where I'm going to discuss some works in progress, which are just 2. A finished object that I have from way back that I had started in December 2017, and I have finished since I last put something on this channel, so I thought I would show that. Also going to discuss a recent acquisition and hopefully show some short video clips of things that I filmed this week. So I think we'll get started. So like I said, I'm only going to talk about 2 whips today, and one is a sock and the other one is a dishcloth. So if this is your first time watching this, please don't be discouraged by the lack of knitting content, as I'm just easing myself back in. There has been lots of knitting going on, but just gonna talk about what I currently am focused on. So my first whip, my first work in progress, is a sock that I'm hoping to bang out 4 or 5 pair of them this month. So it's March, today is March 10th. I'm hoping to get about 4 or 5 pairs of socks done for a knitting crochet exchange that I am doing with my cousin, who is Cat's Eye Collective here on Instagram. Sorry, not here, on Instagram, over on Instagram. She is a fabulous maker, and she and I agreed to do a exchange where she would crochet me a mock Hudson Bay blanket in exchange for some socks. So I'm the sock knitter, she's the crocheter. So she has completed that blanket for us. It is for our cabin, and it is down in our cabin. We're already using it. I love it. It's fabulous, and hopefully I'll be able to insert a picture here somewhere to show you. It is a photo that she took of the project herself. This is the first for the exchange with her, and it hasn't been washed or blocked yet. So it's just a vanilla sock. No real pattern. It is 56 stitches. There is a 2-inch cuff with a 1x1 rib. I really like the 1x1 twisted rib. And this is the first time I'm doing such a large cuff. I usually do about 16 rounds for my cuffs, but I have been noticing on my Instagram feed that a lot of other sock makers are doing longer cuffs, and I do like it, so I wanted to give it a try. So I'm trying it on this sock. This is an Afterthought heel, so I did use Susan B. Anderson's Smooth Operator Afterthought heel with this. So I did about 6 inches in total from the cast on to where I placed the waste yarn to insert the heel at a later time. And as you can see, the yarn, we can see that. The yarn for the heel does blend in right from the stripes that are in the pattern of the sock, patterning of the yarn. This yarn is Croy by Patons. Patons Croy. Sorry, I'm just looking for the label, and of course I can't find it. It is the Purple Haze colorway, and I probably should throw it back right now here to Past Me from this week, where I was trying to do a series of a couple quick videos during the evening, just to see if I could do kind of a daily vlog where I did show what knitting I got up to during the week, which actually was very little this week. So I did cast this sock on Friday, March 1st. This was my cast on, and I worked on these socks all week, pretty much exclusively. So right now I am up to the heel insert of the second sock. So I've finished one sock and put the heel in, or I am putting the heel in right now in the second sock. So I should be finished this pair today, but right now I'll throw it back to old me. Hi everyone, it is Tuesday, March 5th, and I'm just doing a quick follow-up, trying to do a daily vlog to see if I can actually get something together to publish for the weekend, and just to do a quick check-in. So as you can see, I'm not alone. Have some company here tonight. He's asleep, and he's pretty sound sleeper, so he's probably not going to wake up as I sit here talking, but I probably won't really have that much to say, as I was at work all day and had some appointments and a busy evening after I got home. So not a huge amount of knitting time, but I did actually manage to get the heel put in, the Afterthought heel put in on my sock. It's kind of poked out there between yesterday and today, and I've knit down the foot, and I'm now ready to put the heel in. So hopefully tonight I will get the, did I just say the heel? The toe. Finish the toe off tonight and graft it together, and then hopefully get the second sock cast on. So as you can see, I've got my headlamp on, and I've got my iPad ready to go, so I can catch up on some shows and have some cozy kind of cuddle time, although my partner is already about an hour ahead of me. So we'll see what we get done, and hopefully we'll check in tomorrow. Hi everybody. It is Wednesday, March 7th, and it's the afternoon. I'm off work a little bit early. I had an appointment today, so just off work early without the kids home, so I am able to film a quick little segment here that hopefully I can add to the other ones. So actually made very little progress last night on the sock that I showed. I ended up falling asleep at about 8:45 in the middle of knitting. So I did get up early this morning. I usually wake up around anytime after 4:30. I'm pretty much good to get up and go for the day. Obviously not long, as I tend to fall asleep before 9 or just after 9. But I do prefer to get up early and just have some coffee and knitting. So this morning I was able to put the toe in, finish the toe and graft that together for my sock. So one sock, the first sock, is done. It obviously needs to be blocked. It's kind of resting funny, but I'm pretty pleased with it. I've tried it on and it fits like a dream. I love the Croy wool, the Croy sock yarn. It fits so good. It's so comfy and warm and cozy, just like a nice hug for your foot. Sorry if I'm shaking you there. So I did just cast on for the second sock, so I'm only a couple rows in, as you can see, and hopefully that won't take long. I kind of have a goal in mind to get it done. I really ideally would love to have it done by this Friday, as I cast it on March 1st, so I'd like to do like a week about for a pair of socks so that I can bang out these 4 pair of socks pretty quickly. That's my goal. Whether or not that happens is a totally different thing. I don't think it probably is likely going to happen, but definitely probably before the weekend is over. And other than that, not much else to talk about, but I guess I could say that I am wearing my Void shawl, which I knit a couple of years ago. It was a popular pattern. It was one of the first shawls that I ever made, and it is knit from Malabrigo Rios in the Ravelry Red colorway, and this is such a warm, beautiful shawl to wear. The yarn, Malabrigo, is like my favorite yarn to knit with. It's so nice, and this pattern, the Void shawl, is so lovely. And it is just like wearing a big warm comfy blanket on your shoulders or around your neck. I'm terrible at styling shawls, but this one is super warm and cozy, so I can definitely recommend knitting that pattern. Other than that, that's about it. I'm surprised I actually was able to film something today. I was rather embarrassed when I fell asleep probably about 15 minutes after making a video last night. So we'll see what gets done in the next half hour or so before the boys come home and I get busy with them. All right, we'll talk later, hopefully. So probably not too much to podcast tonight about knitting, as it's getting late. The sun is going down over my shoulder here, and I'm just out for a walk, and it is really cold out, but feels good. In the way of knitting, I guess I can say that I'm wearing my Free the Minis shawl that is made entirely of mini skeins that I received from my friend Trisha, who is TLC Stitches on Instagram. And she has a lovely Instagram feed. So if you're looking for some really nice knitting pictures and posts, definitely go over and follow her. I'm also wearing some Thrum mitts that are super, super warm, good for here, winter in Canada. And these were knit for me by my aunt a few years ago, probably about 6 or 7 years ago. So sorry if I'm shaking you. So that's really all I have to talk about for knitting. No knitted hat, just my really warm, comfy one that's always by the door, ready to go. So before the sun totally disappears, I'm going to continue down the road on my walk, and hopefully I'll be able to get something to video for you tomorrow. Bye. So not too much else to say about that pair of socks. Like I want to get at least 3 more done for the exchange. The yarn, the Croy sock yarn, is a 75-25 wool nylon blend, and it is truly one of my favorite sock yarns. It's so thick, and the fabric that it makes is so durable. I've had pairs of these socks that have just lasted me like 10 years. They won't die. So for their price point, they are well worth it. So that is my main whip that's been going on my needles this week. So hopefully finish those today. My other whip is kind of a little challenge that I've set for myself. I am trying to basically knit through my stash. It's something that I tried to do last year and I did do pretty good, but then I fell off the rails and purchased a bunch of yarn. And then I got back on the yarn diet and then I fell off again. But I really truly do want to knit through my stash, and I do have a little bit of a stash of cotton yarns for dishcloths that I just want to get rid of and put to use. I always find that the dishcloths are good to have on hand for little gifts, or if a neighbor brings you or anyone brings you something nice to eat or sweets or anything, it's always nice to stick a little dishcloth in their dish when you return it, because I don't always have time to be refilling those dishes with food. So I have a plan to knit a dishcloth a month for the year. So I did finish one for January, so that is one finished object. Not really that not really that challenging. Although the Yarn Hoarder does have on Instagram, she does have another dishcloth challenge going on this year. Excuse me, for 2019. I'm not really partaking in that, but if you are interested, that is an option. Sorry. Dishcloths really kind of hold a special place in my heart when it comes to knitting. Like, they're not super challenging, or the yarn isn't always super interesting, but I did teach myself to knit or get back into knitting with dishcloths just by doing random patterns with different stitches and whatnot. So I do still have a really special place in my heart for the dishcloths. So that was my January one. I'm still working on my February, and even though this is March, this is my February. Red for February. Although I should have done green for March. So I still have February and March. And the pattern that I'm using is the Grandmother's Favorite Dishcloth pattern, which is free and available on the internet. Super easy, knits up really quick. Good for TV knitting or car knitting or late night knitting when you don't want to think about anything, you just want to do the motions. The yarn, I don't know what this colorway is, but it is Bernat Handicrafter, and it is 100% cotton, I believe. Uh, 100% cotton, made in Canada with 100% cotton. And the needles that I do use for my dishcloths are a size 3.25 millimeter. It'll be hard to see them. They are handmade from birch by the River John Needle Company, and they can be found online at the Lismore Sheep Farm Woolshop.com. And you'll probably hear me talk a lot about the Lismore Sheep Farm Wool Shop, because it kind of is a local to me producer of yarn. It's about an hour and a half away from here, but it is local, and I do try to go there at least once a year. So I did put these handy little stoppers on the end. This is a set of double pointed, but I just really enjoy working with these needles because they are so smooth. So not much else to say about that. So those are my two whips that I wanted to show, my two works in progress, and I actually keep keep my dishcloths in this super cute little basket that I purchased at a local charity shop here in town. So it's easy to move around from like the couch to the bedroom to the dining area, whatever. It just sticks around. Now I'm going to talk about finished object. So I did finish my Tertia shawl, which was one of my whips on my published episode from 7 months ago. So excuse all the rustling, but I will see if I can show you. It's been folded up and put in my closet for a bit. I hope you're seeing that. All right. It hasn't been worn. I can hear my kids out there playing. I should be out there with them after this. Get out there with them. So it hasn't been worn yet. It's just in my closet waiting to be worn. It is, as I said, the Tertia shawl recipe. And this pattern is very flexible to use up whatever kind of yarn that you do have in your stash. It has an I-cord edging, which I absolutely adore. I love I-cord. I love doing I-cord. I love the way it looks. This is a paid-for pattern on Ravelry, but I did win that pattern from a giveaway that was hosted by Patty from the 4 Boys and an NL Girl knitting podcast. So you can check her out on YouTube. She is from Newfoundland, and that is another province here in Canada. Not too awfully far. It's also on the East Coast. It's the most easterly point in Canada. So she has a fabulous podcast, and I did win that pattern from her podcast. The yarn is, the speckled yarn was a gift from a friend, from Angela, who also has a podcast, Yarn and Yarns, here on YouTube, and is Rainbow Ange on Instagram and Ravelry. So she gifted me the speckled yarn, which is by Mothy and the Squid. It is called Speckled Rainbow, and I used up pretty much every little bit of that skein. And what I didn't use, I gave in a Christmas Advent exchange. And the blue color is yarn by Richard DeVries, and it is in the colorway called Singing, and I don't know what the fiber content is of that yarn or the other yarn, because I did lose the tags, the skein tags. I actually tossed them because I'm done with them. And if you want to know more about that project, it is posted on Ravelry. So that is the one finished object that I have, and hopefully next time I'll be talking about my socks. So I do have one new acquisition which came this week that I would like to talk to you about now. So I did make a purchase from my friend's knitting shop, which if you watch this yarn shop, not knitting shop, if you watch this podcast on a regular basis, you will hear me talk about my friend Angela and her knitting shop constantly. So I think I just better get that out there and be upfront about it. Angela has a yarn shop in Wales, and it is also the same name as her channel here on YouTube, which is Yarn and Yarns. And if you follow her on Instagram, you will see lots of lovely things that she posts in that she has for sale in her shop. So she did recently post a picture of a cardigan that she had knit, I think on commission, for someone, and I actually fell in love with it, and I want to knit it for one of my boys. Hopefully the older boy, so then the younger boy can use it. So hopefully I'll knit it for Havelock, and then it'll fit Archie. But you should definitely go check her finished object out on Instagram because it's so cute. So I fell in love with this cardigan, and it is a pattern by Sirdar, and It's just such like an old man cardigan. I love it. So I ordered the pattern book from her shop so that I could make it, and it does, it's called Seaside Babes by Sirdar. And it does have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 patterns included. It's heavy booklet, all colored pictures, beautiful paper, and I cannot wait to cast on for that. But whether or not I get that cast on is another thing. I have the yarn, I have the needles, I have the time. No, I don't have the time. So we'll see after I get knit through these pairs of socks, how I make out to get that cardigan cast on. By the time I probably get it cast on and off the needles, it probably will be ready for fall wearing. I showed it to my son and asked him if he wanted me to make it for him, and he wasn't too keen about it because it had a baby in it. So I did explain to him that I could make it in a bigger size, and he said, okay, mommy, but no buttons. So we'll see. He does enjoy right now things that I do knit for him, but I know that could change. So that was a pretty quick little broadcast. As I said, I'm just trying to get back into the flow. Ideally, I would love to put something out every week, if not like twice a week. Not twice a week, twice a month, but we'll see. I'm now going to show you some pictures, some videos from quick videos from our weather and what's been going on here close to home in Nova Scotia this week. So hopefully I'll actually publish this video, and hopefully you enjoyed watching it. If you did, give a thumbs up or subscribe, and hopefully we'll see you next time, and I'll have a little bit more content and less ums. Thank you. Bye.
Hey.